Hey there, Nicole Frost of Frost Yarn, and today I wanted to talk about why I will no longer be pre-saling any yarn or fiber and why I need to make this change for my business to stay viable and feel ethical about the way that I am interacting with the buying public. So if you see me looking off to the side, it's because I've made some notes that I'm going to be reading from so I can stay on track, because ADHD will often sidetrack me well past the 1 minute time frame for the video. So let's start with why presale is so prevalent in the fiber arts marketplace. It limits the financial exposure of the artist. Gauging interest by offering presale means I can buy the exact amount of yarn people want and only dye the colorways that I sold. Buying yarn up front and dyeing it while guessing the market interest means that I will always have unsold stock on unpopular bases or in unpopular colorways that I take a loss on. Either I have to put it on sale to get it out of my shop, or give it away in a giveaway, or turn it into a sample with the hope that it will spark renewed interest. So given that, it's pretty obvious that's why so many people in this industry do pre-sale, right? But after my stitches in Sacramento, I did a pre-sale for the people that couldn't make it to the show, and I had a 6-week turnaround. And then we got a diagnosis in our family that means we're at the doctor's office up to 3 times a week with therapies and interventions and testing, follow-ups, etc. And that just completely blew my timeline away. And I also lost 9 days of production due to my daughter not being able to be in school. So those two things meant that about 25% of people who got a presale from me got it either 1, 2, or as much as 3 weeks late. And there's lots of stuff going on behind the scenes that I don't think the buying public is aware of. The pandemic has created supply chain issues for the dye, the acid, and the yarn. For example, I used to get 50 pounds of citric acid for $50 and about $30 shipping from bulk apothecary. And I think the last time I bought it, it took them 6 weeks to get it to me because they pre-sold it to me as though it were in stock when it wasn't. And it had doubled in cost, and it has now doubled in cost again. So it's like close to $200 for 50 pounds when I used to pay $50 for 50 pounds. I'm going to show you some screenshots from Dharma from today. And this is better than it was last year, but this is quite a few different colors that have been reformulated or sold out, which means those of us that rely on those colors for colorways have to do additional dye testing and reformulate what we're doing, which means how do you pre-sale, right? I had a yarn company send me a completely different base than the one I ordered that I had to ship back. And another time I bought a bunch of minis, and then I was told the minis are actually not in stock, but they're on a port in the container. And once they get off the container, and then they will give me a shipping time, which I think cost me 3 weeks on a different pre-sale, just because there were none of that base in that size that could be had from another supplier. So that kind of just gives you a little bit of an idea. And then we got COVID as a family. My daughter brought it home from school in January of 2022, and having an entire house get COVID and our water heater break and not be able to have, I couldn't even dye while I was sick because the water had to be turned off for the entire 21 days that we were in quarantine. So that killed one of my timelines. And although my primary infection with COVID was really mild, in the next 7 months, I got bronchitis back to back 3 times. Where I was on antibiotics and an inhaler and steroids. And then the third time I was told that I couldn't go to emergency anymore. I'd have to go to pulmonology at the hospital because I had long haul COVID. So if you can imagine 30 days of steroids, 30 days of antibiotics, it really cut into my timeline in 2022 to prepare for stitches and to meet my obligations. So, you know, I can't guarantee with 2 kids and, you know, being in a pandemic that's probably just never going to end, that I won't get sick again. And even though I know my customers are patient and they want the fiber and they want to support me, it doesn't feel ethical anymore to take money up front when I can't guarantee delivery of a product. For my business, The safer way to move forward in today's economic climate and our global health is to shoulder the financial risk myself rather than pass it on to you, my customer. My sole focus will be on finishing the book before I come back to production full time. So in the next week, all my remaining stock will be listed online for sale, and that's going to defray the cost of a new lighting rig and filming my dye workshop and the editing suite that I'm buying, because now I'm starting to work through editing the videos into one big masterclass style workshop that comes with the book. So I hope that makes sense. I'm not passing judgment on any of the other dyers that are deciding to pre-sale, but I have noticed that I've just missed too many deadlines for it to be a viable business strategy for me at my 15th year of business this year, watching my ability to hit deadlines degrade every year.